Put your cell phone on silent mode, avoid all distractions for about an hour, and use headphones if possible. Pay undivided attention to the most important 1 hour of your life. So, friends, sanitizing the budgets and bottom line thought process. This is what is the topic of today, and it gives me a great pleasure to invite all of you for this wonderful session. Because, to me, if you ask me, in the era of dual specialization, the number one specialization is HR, and number two specialization is finance. Now, I'm wondering why would you want to go from number one to number two? If you have a major in HR and a minor in finance, you are today the deadliest combination available in the industry in terms of your skill sets. So, friends, what is bottom line thought process? How to make an impact on your organization's bottom line? That is what is the subject matter of today. Without much ado, let's straight go to the webinar agenda. What are the top three priorities post COVID? Three secrets of boardroom. So most of these finance guys, the top directors, the CXOs, they have been meeting behind the closed doors on Zoom and all other platforms, and they have arrived at the top three priorities post COVID. What are the top three priorities? We are going to talk about them. And from the HR perspective, why finance? Why an HR person should know finance? I'm going to give you four key reasons. How can HR deliver profits? Now, all this while we used to think that HR is cost center, and he just incurs the cost, recruits people, pays salaries, does compensation, benefits, remuneration planning, so on and so forth. But now the paradigm has shifted. If somebody tells me that the frontline soldiers in COVID situation are doctors, I beg to differ, because post COVID, once the economic COVID sets in, the frontline soldiers would be HR, because they are the ones who will have to deliver profit. They are the ones who will have to rationalize the costs. They are the ones who are going to take the hiring and firing decisions for the companies. And trust me, friends, today the biggest dilemma an HR professional faces is that I have spent so many years in recruiting people, nurturing talent, growing them, and bringing them to this level. And now my company expects me to give them a pink slip. Trust me, it's just like saying that nobody knows the harsh effects of a war other than the soldier who is fighting it. So I understand and I empathize with you. And trust me, at the end of the session, I'm going to give you short formulas which will make HR business partner and not just a cost center. What are the key matrices? What are the key HR matrices? How will the HR get measured? And what is your action plan? So what is the thing that you are going to do in order to manifest the plan that we are making? So all of you are ready? Are you all ready? If you are ready to go with me on this exciting journey of 1 hour, just type a yes in the chat window and say I am ready. Say I am ready. Okay. Akriti says I am ready. Vandana says I am ready. Piyush says I am ready. Jayesh says I am ready. Rashi says I am ready. Raj Lakshmi says I am ready. Gurudat says I am ready. Sonia says I am ready. Great. Now I mean, my motivation levels have gone up since you guys are ready for this. So let me straight do a deep dive. And last but not least, yes, how can we help? Okay. So friends, what do the top guys want? Okay, any clue? Any clue? Today, what does a board of directors or a CEO or a CXO or a CFO wants in his business? What are his top 3 priorities? Can anybody tell me in the chat window what, according to you, are the top 3 priorities of the top guys? Anyone? 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 What do the top guys want? Okay. Sangeeta says cost, efficiency, and effectiveness. Very good. What else? What else? Sustained business with profit. Hitesh says. Raj Lakshmi says they want best people, lowest cost. Venkatesh says profits. Jayashri says business sustenance. Piyush says business continuity. Amruta says productivity, customer satisfaction, and employee happiness. Sustainable profits. Raj Lakshmi says. Rashi says business continuity, cost saving, and number safety. Abhay says profit. Danny says shareholders value. Anjani says future 3 years planning, financial planning, and good results. Good people, sorry. Sangeeta says cost reduction. Varda says less cost and more profit. Sania says a winning market. Great. So I will tell you, I went to so many boardrooms and I found out that the key performance indicators for a CEO and a CFO are these three: increasing revenue, reducing cost, and generating cash. Now, the pertinent question here is, can human resource help their CEOs and CFOs achieve these objectives? Yes or no? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Can HR help in achieving these objectives? Can HR help in achieving these objectives? Yes or no? Yes, Amruta says, Sangeeta says yes, Venkatesh says yes, Varda says yes. How? Piyush says yes, Tejas says yes, Raj Lakshmi says yes, Madhvi says yes, Shamima, Abhay, Chaitali, everybody is saying yes. My question is how? I was talking to one HR guy, he says, you know what, I'm going to fire the CEO and CFO. Biggest cost saving, they draw the highest salary, you know. Ha 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 ha. My video screen to the top right. Okay, my video screen to the top right. Okay, is that fine, my friend? Rashi, is that okay? Okay, with the help of expenses, HR budgeting. Okay, okay. Control attrition by managing employees at less cost and more efficiency. Okay, okay, these are great thoughts. Increasing productivity with available manpower. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Okay. Process modification, automation. Okay. I'm going to use this opportunity to clean up extra cost and non-performers. Jayashree, you are on dot. Overhead cost cutting, recruiting, engaging, retaining, multiple tasking, optimum utilization, hiring efficient people. Okay, friends, these are very, very great thoughts. But one needs to understand that today we are in a dilemma. You know, I had to lay off a few people, and I was wondering that should I lay off people or should I cut pay? So we came to a conclusion. We came to a conclusion that we will reduce the pay. You know, we'll distribute the burden over a larger number of people rather than laying off a few people and giving them more pain. Now depends, you know, every organization may have their own strategies to do it. Some have chosen to go the tougher way, some have chosen to go the easier way. But let me tell you how HR can impact. Okay, why finance? You know, why finance? Finance is the lifeblood of business. If you see, friends, majority of the financial decisions in a company are taken by non-finance professionals. Take an example of yourself. You are an HR, you recruit people, you onboard them, you train them, you do their remuneration planning, you fix up their compensation and benefits, you decide who will get which cabin, where he will sit in the office, how he will commute to work, so on and so forth. All of these are financial decisions. Don't you think so? Don't you think so? Well, As an HR, you are expected to take so many financial decisions. If I were to extrapolate this to other functions, think of procurement, what to buy, how to buy, when to buy, how much to buy, how to ship it, all our financial decisions. Production planning, what to produce, how much to produce, when to produce, for whom to produce, at what cost to produce, financial decisions. Sales, what to sell, how to sell, when to sell, for whom to sell, how to ship, all our financial decisions. I think 95 to 96% of the financial decisions in an organization are taken by non finance people. Let the thought sink in. Think about it. Think about it. Come to see like this, the only guy who doesn't take any financial decision in an organization is a finance guy. He comes to you every quarter and shows you a report card. Hey, non finance people, this is how you fared doing financial decisions for the last quarter. There's something inherently wrong in the way the whole corporate structure is designed. I mean, you are asking all the non pilots to fly a plane to give them a report card every quarter and every year that this is how you fared in flying. It's plain risky. Don't you think so? Don't you think so? You know, plus all the kras are financial numbers. Everybody today is linked to the top line of the company, to the bottom line of the company, and to the EBITDA margins of the company, and to the asset creations of the company, and to the ROI of the company. Isn't it so? Yes or no? HR takes major financial decisions, right from recruitment planning to actual recruitment to onboarding to doing the formalities to training to induction to compensation planning to gratuity to PF to statutory compliances. All of the work of HR is all numbers, 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 and solely numbers. There is no human, there is no relation, only numbers, and still we say that we shy away from numbers. I am not blaming you. I am just showing you a wonderful perspective, a wonderful insight into you taking the biggest opportunity of sharpening your number skills. Okay. And HR and finance are two of the top three skills needed to climb the corporate ladder very, very fast. If you are HR and if you know finance, nobody can challenge your decisions in the company because you would be the only guy who would know the both the sides of the table, right? How can HR deliver profits? You gave me your version, friends. Here is my version of it. What is the biggest roadblock to your company's profitability today? Before I give you my version, tell me in the chat window, what is the biggest roadblock to your company's profitability? What is the biggest roadblock? Can you tell me? I know this is not a deposition, but you can share what is in the public domain. Come on, friends. I'm waiting for your answer. Reduction in sales, finance, overhead expenditure. What else? What else? What else? Hiring of skilled manpower, Sangeeta says. Overhead, Amrita says. Hitesh says less skilled manpower. Okay, great. You want to know what is the perspective of the industry? What is the perspective of the industry? I am on the panel of finance and taxation for CII Maharashtra for last about 12 years, and I have got this answer: ignorance by many people of how the company makes money, how it achieves its objectives, and how all the functions are interdependent. Friends, today the biggest roadblock is ignorance. If I were to come into your office and ask a random guy sitting just next to the front door in a cubicle, do you know how your company makes money? Do you know how it achieves its objectives? Are you aware that all of your functions are interdependent? I don't know. Are you confident that he's going to give me the right answer? Think about it. Look at this. Look at this. Today, 53% of employees are not happy at work. Why? Why? First, they are not able to come to work. Second, they've got a pay cut. They're stuck in their homes, crammed in small spaces, difficult to find isolation or a quiet atmosphere to peacefully do their job. They are sinking into withdrawal symptoms. You are talking about their productivity. Are they even having a proper mindset to be productive? I don't know. What is the cost of losing a talented resource? Of the total HR budget, we lose 16 to 20% of the budget allocated every year because of losing talented resources for many reasons ever told to us. 79% of these people quit due to lack of appreciation. You know what? Every time more money is not the answer. They need appreciation, they need the work to be satisfying. 10% of employees are so loyal to the office air conditioning, to the coffee machine, and to the office canteen that they just stick around day after day, week after week, month after month, causing the office to get fatigued from them, but they would just stick to their seats. 10% of employees are not taking leaves, and that's hampering their productivity in a big way. And today, on an average, for every industry, friends, one third of the pie, one third of the pie is in your hands. Employee cost to total operating cost is 33%. With great powers come great responsibility. Who said this? This was said in the movie Spider-Man, right? Peter Parker's uncle told him that with great power comes great responsibility. So if one third of the pie is with you, you have great power in the organization to decide who will stay, who will leave, who will perform, who will super perform, who will grow, who will climb the ladder, and who will be at the top. With so much of power at your disposal, there comes a great responsibility to ensure that people are contributing at least 6 times what they take from the company in order for company to be prosperous. Unless we are doing that, we are not out of the woods. Let's look at some key HR measures. Okay, how do you measure the performance of HR? I've been talking a lot about great responsibility. So what is that great responsibility, you may ask me? So here is the answer. Performance measurement, efficiency ratio. What is the efficiency ratio of your people? For those of you who are from engineering background, can quickly tell me that efficiency is defined as output divided by input. When you are achieving maximum output with minimum input, you are efficient. Recovery rate. What is the per hour, per day, per product, per service, per customer recovery rate of your people? Have you ever wondered that if that team of yours is handling an annoying customer for a very long period of time, You are investing too much of resources in one angry customer who is not going to add too much to your bottom line, but is going to do a more damage by going out and spreading negative about your company. Imagine turning one angry customer to one happy customer takes hell lot of a time and cost. Why let him become angry in the first place? Revenue per employee, have we calculated? This is more important for service organizations. We try to calculate what is the revenue per employee in case of services. Welfare measure, we talk about capacity utilization. So many of people in the company, they write, I spent 2 hours in filling timesheet. This is what they write in the timesheet. That is the irony of our life. Attrition rate, how many people are coming, going, coming, going, coming, going? Is your organization a local train, or are you able to keep people long enough and give them the career perspective? Leave utilization ratio, are your people having appropriate work life balance? If your people are not able to have proper work life balance, you are going to face challenges in the coming days. L&D measure, what is the training budget spend? Are you spending most of your training budget in frills? Did you buy the expensive LMS with all the bells and whistles only to find that people have no interest in accessing it? Are you spending too much on paid holidays like exotic locations and travel and airfare and hotel stay? Are these forming a part of your training budget, or are you effectively utilizing the training budget on upskilling the employees, doing proper assessments, giving them the live projects to identify and analyze whether they are able to learn, retain, and most importantly, apply whatever they have learned in real life situation? What are the average training hours which are effective, right? So these are the measures which the top guys look at you for. So if you can calculate any of these points which are mentioned here, the 8 points which are mentioned here, if you can mathematically calculate them, congratulations, you are halfway there. If you cannot put these measures in an Excel sheet by yourself, draw up a pivot table and identify whether you are value adding HR or non value adding HR. Number one, you don't know Excel. Number two, you don't know how to do numbers. And number three, the good news is that you know what you don't know, and now you can act upon it. Friends, I am telling you, Excel is a beautiful tool. Finance is an amazing subject, provided you find a good teacher. Let me ask you this simple question. Think of your favorite subject in school. Think of your favorite subject in school. Why did you like that subject? Do you want the answer? Think of the teacher. Think of the teacher. Your favorite subject in school was your favorite subject simply because you had a great teacher. My favorite subject in my CA days was not accounts, it was law. Why law? I am not a lawyer. I had a fabulous law teacher. She made us remember all the definitions so well. Even today, after 18 years, I can remember section 1 to section 75 of Indian Contract Act 1872. Why? Because we had fabulous teacher. Think of the subject that you dreaded the most in your school days. Now think of the teacher. You find finance as a boring subject, not because the subject is boring, because it is presented to you as boring. Annual reports are horribly boring documents and they are prescribed as the surest cure to insomnia. Trust me, if I am telling you to read the annual report and if you can cross 10 pages without falling asleep, I will refund the money for which you have bought the annual report. They are horribly boring documents. Unless you make finance interesting, it is very difficult for you to learn. But then that is true for HR subjects. I mean, organization behavior. I had that subject in my MBA. And let me tell you, I love the subject because that's the only subject in which I could complete my sleep. Yeah, I was very fresh after I studied OB. Why? Because I had a dreadful OB teacher. So, like that, you need to make it personal, you need to make it interesting, and identify the right kind of teacher. Okay. So, how to reduce 25% of your company's budget and as well as boost 25% of people's productivity in post-COVID world. For whatever little time I am left with in this webinar, I'm going to talk about this. So keep your pens and papers ready. And if you are more technologically savvy, just put on your sticky notes on your laptop so that you can take down the pointers. Okay. And yes, if you stay until the end, I'm going to give you a special gift only who stays right up to the end of this webinar. If you're curious about what it is, I'm not going to tell it to you right now. A little bit about me. I have written 8 books on finance, all of which are published by CNBC TV 18. I come on television very regularly. They've shot 22 episodes on me on a channel called ET Now in a program called Leaders of Tomorrow. I have worked for UTI, which is a government company, Intelivate Capital, which is a private company, and Bombay Stock Exchange, which is a stock exchange. So I get the perspective from all the three angles. I conduct workshops in India and Middle East for 16 plus years. And I'm an adjunct professor with SP Jain, Dubai, Sydney, Singapore, and Mumbai on finance for a program called Global Family Managed Businesses. And yeah, most importantly, I come from a Gujarati business family and I have exited from 2 businesses successfully. My last business was sold to one of the prominent broking houses in India, which was later on acquired by a large French bank. So, friends, majority of my LinkedIn connections, I'm sure some of you would have already sent me an invite, and trust me, I'm going to accept all your invites after this webinar. You would see 60% of them comprises of HR. Why? Because I found my calling in training and development. I was into investment banking. My friends still tell me that, if you had continued in investment banking, you would have had 2 extra bedrooms in your house and your car would have been a little bit longer. But I'm telling you, guys, that the quality of sleep that I get is enviable to most of my investment banking colleagues. So, how would you feel if all your people were highly skilled in finance? Think of a situation, friends, where your procurement guy understands finance, your production guy does his calculations, your sales guy knows the back of his hand that collecting money upfront is his prerogative. Your HR team members knows how to pay the exact compensation to people. What would happen to your company? How would you feel? Can you just tell me in the chat window? Sangeeta says no emotion, only numbers. I am asking about how would you feel? Feeling is an emotion, Sangeeta. How would you feel if your company is making more profits? How would you feel if people take right financial decisions? How would you feel if your company's business is taken by smart, savvy people? Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Veena. Thank you, Raj Lakshmi. Thank you, Pankaj. Okay. Okay. Swati says, would know we are going the right way. Proud, happy, cloud 9. We are happy. And you know what? See, it's a very big myth, guys. Let me tell you, friends, that hard, cold numbers are emotionless. That's a myth. Think of all your buying decisions, the car that you bought, the house that you bought, that nice dress that you purchased, or the fancy mobile phone that you have. All the money decisions are emotional decisions. All the advertisers in the world to take money out of your pocket, they appeal to your emotions. The numbers are never hard and cold, only they are projected that ways in corporate finance. All the decisions, write it down on a piece of paper. All your financial decisions are triggered by emotion. You took up this job because you felt emotional about this company. It was not a hard, cold, rational decision. If that is the case, I am going to deteriorate your job profile by 80% and offer you 40% hike. Would you go and work for that company that butchers people? I am sure you are not going to work, because money and emotion go hand in hand. To me, money is the most emotional subject on this earth. Majority of the conflicts happen because of money. And tell me, conflict management is not emotional. Cold, is it? No, not at all. It's a misconception that all of us live in. This COVID 19 has given us an opportunity to clear the clouds and let the sun shine in our brain and think. Think, if money is an emotion and if people are attached to money, how can we make it fruitful for everyone? Everyone. Think about it. Think about it. Okay. How easy would it be to take right decisions for your business, right? If money had no emotions, we would never be in a dilemma, you know. HR faces dilemma at job every day. If money was the only prerogative, we would have coldly just given out pink slips to 80% of our employees, because anyways we don't need them now, because there is no business, no sales is happening. Fire everyone. No, we feel about them, right? We feel emotional. We feel, no, what will they do? How will they sustain their families? They have houses to run. What if the same thing were to happen to me? With these emotions, even at a loss, we don't fire everyone. We request a pay cut. We ask them to cut down on their needs and let the difficult time pass by. Tell me, is this not a financial decision? You are letting a company suffer a loss because you care for your people. If you are only cold blooded, number driven personality, by now most of your employees would have been on roads. That's not the case, and that will never be the case. Why? Because we are HR first and finance later. And that should be the case. When I advocate my finance program to my HR folks, I never say finance first and HR later. Human relationships always remain at the top. Even though I'm a finance guy, I admit the fact that HR comes first, because that's how the societies function. How budgets can be drawn accurately and followed diligently. If we are all finance savvy, we can set reasonable expectations, work towards them, and achieve them. At the same time, the HR department would get complete control over the organization, simply because they have drawn up the budgets and they can do effective reviews. Reviews give you control and they give you yardstick to measure what is budget versus actual, what is promise versus performance. And once you start doing all of this, you will see that all of it starts falling in track. What are the common myths? How many of you think that finance guys are enough to take care of your company's budget? How many of you think this ways? How many of you think this ways? Great. So let me continue. I am saying that if you can, if your people are highly skilled in finance, then drawing up budgets and following them diligently becomes very, very easy. At the same time, budgeting gives you two aspects. One is it gives you control, you can do effective review, and it gives you a yardstick to measure. You can measure budget versus actual, you can measure promise versus performance, and that's how you are able to get more control over company's performance. This is what I meant when I said about budgeting. Okay, let me continue. What are the common myths? How many of you think that finance guys are enough to take care of company's budget? How many of you think finance guys are enough to take care of company's budget? Tell me a yes or a no. Tell me a yes or a no. Okay, Amruta says no. Not enough? No. Okay. Sanjay says no. Ganesh says no. Rajlakshmi Rajlakshmi says no, Bhavin says no, Abhay says no, Chaitali says no, Sangeeta says no, Anjani says no. Okay, great, great. How have you paid more money thinking that more productivity would be achieved, but it didn't happen? Has this happened to you? Has this happened to you? You paid people more money thinking that productivity will come, but it never came when you expected higher productivity. Okay, combination of MBA and CA. Okay, yeah. Bindu says yes. Varda says yes. Anjani says yes. Of course, Raj Lakshmi says. Swati says yes. Akriti says yes. So, friends, if this is the case, these are the myths. After training for 16 plus years, I realized that most financial decisions are taken by non finance people in the company. More money is at times lesser motivation to do more work, and every action has a financial reaction. Do you agree? Every action that you take has a financial reaction. But I learned all of this a very hard way. Most people also learn it very hard way. They realize at the end of one full year that they couldn't meet the numbers. Since they couldn't meet the numbers, they went soft on other people who wouldn't meet the numbers, and it becomes a double whammy because you lose money as well as you forgo productivity. So, friends, what does the world say? We need to understand and come to terms with reality. I have a few reports on what world thinks is the financial impact of COVID. Job losses is a big issue. This is a survey, primary research done by us in CII. 52% of the CEOs anticipate job losses in their respective sectors post lockdown. 47% of the firms expect up to 15% of job losses, and another 32% expected 15 to 30% of the job losses. Firms expect major decline in the top line and bottom line. People say that their profits will fall by more than 10 to 20%, even 30% or more in many companies. Inventory is idle now, and it is going to be a big problem because there is a demand shock in the industry. And since there is a demand shock, the growth forecasts have all gone southwards. We see China going sub 5% from 6% growth. We see world going from 3% to 2.5, US going below 2, UK going below 1. Let me not talk about France, Europe, Japan, Germany, and Italy because it's terrible. So, how many of you want a way out of this crisis? So, how many of you want a way out of this crisis? If you want a way out, just type I want a way out. Just type I want a way out. Thank you, Ganesh, for your comment of business heads, HR, and admin and technology perspective in making effective the company's budget. I fully subscribe to your views. Okay. Sania wants a way out. Varda wants a way out. Deepa wants a way out. Rashi wants a way out. Amruta wants a way out. I guess everybody wants a way out. Okay. So what is the way out? What is the way out? In the past, I would have trained more than 50,000 plus people to sharpen themselves on numbers and made them high performing individuals. Created a culture of finance across the organization to get them to achieve their targets year on year, which means we feel that finance is not a new subject, but rather a new way of life. In the past, I would have saved 50 crore rupees for small, medium, and large companies. Some of our clients include Tata Motors, MasterCard, Volvo, Carnival, RPG, Lulu, Ambuja, Mahindra, and many more. But the problem is that most of us are not successful because we are in the Chakravyuh of failure. What is Chakravyuh of failure? Many people, they come to my workshops, they learn, but they forget to apply. Now, learning and not applying is a dangerous thing to do. Many others apply, but they fail to review. They apply what they learn, but they don't review whether they got the fruits or not. There are many others who review, they identify the gaps, but they fail to make an action plan. And when you review but don't make an action plan, it's disastrous. Many people, they learn, they apply, they review, they make an action plan, but then they get so busy with their routine activities that they do not take action on the action plan. And worst of all, people who learn, apply, review, make an action plan, and implement the actions on the action plan but are not consistent. They are like Rahul Roys and Arvind Swamis of this country, who came in the 90s, the roaring 90s, and gave a few hit films and then they just vanished. Boom! They were nowhere to be seen. They were one night wonders, and there are so many one night wonder stories in our corporate world as well. Forget Bollywood. But there are three secrets to break this loop. Do you want the three secrets? Do you want the three secrets? Do you want the three secrets? If you want, type yes, I want. And I'm going to put a condition. It's not just I want and I'm going to give it to you. I am going to ask one question each before I reveal the secret to you, and you will have to answer the question. If you want the secrets, you have to answer my questions. The secrets will come to only those people who can answer my questions. Okay, yes, everybody wants it. Okay, great. Without much ado, let's go to secret number one. How many of you feel that specialization in one domain is enough for your success? How many of you feel that specialization in one domain is enough for your success? No, Raj Lakshmi, I am not asking for investment. I am asking question. You can answer my question. Okay, Sangeeta says no, Ganesh says no, Danny says no. Okay, Swati says no, Piyush says no, Deepa says no. Okay, so the answer is HR plus finance is equal to assured leadership. HR plus finance is equal to assured leadership. For a leading automobile company, we achieved a double-digit OPM. The company's name is Mahindra and Mahindra. We worked with them for about 1.5 years. If you go to any Mahindra offices in late 2015-16, you would see that the top 10 things they want to achieve. The first thing was, we want to have a double-digit OPM, operating profit margin. And they tried and tried and tried, they couldn't achieve it. We tried and tried and tried, we couldn't achieve it. But finally, the whole journey, I will share it with you some other day, how we achieved double-digit operating profit margin. You can go and check their P&L account for the last year. You will see that the proof of the pudding is existing. Secret number two. How many of you think more training will solve the problem? Now, this is a tricky one. How many of you think that more training will solve the problem? Sanya, I'll tell you, that's a long story. So maybe not today, but some other day. I have time constraint. But nonetheless, this is in public domain. We've achieved it. Which kind of training? Deepa says, Shamima says yes, Sangeeta says depends, Abhay says no, not exactly, Manikandan says training and applying, Piyush says no, training only will not solve the problem. Correct, Sania, you hit the nail on the dot. Though I come from a training industry, I believe more training will not solve the problem unless training is accompanied with implementation and review and action plan and consistency. If you don't have all these 5 points, training is a wasteful expenditure. This is coming from a trainer. If you don't have implementation, review, action plan, and consistent application of the learning, don't waste your company's precious money in training. It is a waste, and I would not want you to waste as a finance guy. Okay? For a Middle East conglomerate run by Indian origin people, we trained the entire top team, the business heads, to drive implementation, review, action plan, and consistency through our finance first vertical, and made them understand that why training alone is not sufficient. They had very handsome training budgets. We did not touch the training budget. We said, unless you get this entire system in place, we are not going to touch any of your training budgets, because we don't want you to waste time of people and money of the company, right? Let's go to the last secret for the day. How many of you feel that it can be managed, it can all be managed from within the company? How many of you feel that it can all be managed from within the company? Yeah, Raj Lakshmi, I can understand that there is a will issue. Deepa says no, it cannot be managed. Not sure, no. Sangeeta says yes to the large extent. Okay, I'll tell you. Financial experts plus HR domain knowledge leads to perfect growth partners. See, many a times we try to insource everything and save cost. But then, we become penny wise and pound foolish. If I were to hire a person and ask him to perform a task, after a point he takes it for granted. If I perform, I don't perform, who cares? I'm getting my salary. If I hire a guy and tell him, I'm going to pay you so much fees, his company's profitability is depending on the quality of service that he provides. Any person is always more motivated to perform via profits than via salary. You may dispute and debate with me on this, but if you are engaging a financial expert who is driven by numbers all his life, let me assure you, I may not know in HR domain or any other domain, but finance guys, if you put more money by giving them more performance, they are going to transform and bring wonders to your company. For a chain of QSR, we created the performance matrices that were created, deployed, monitored, and converted into a habit for key executives. Because the quick service restaurant business saw that they had all food service experts, they did not have financial experts. And that is where, we brought out a major difference. In the world where specialization is the name of the game, in the world where HR is also a shared service, and specialist HRs are forming center of excellences to manage global HR practices from one location, collaboration is the way forward. Okay, so far so good. Are you guys enjoying the webinar? Are you guys enjoying the webinar? If you are enjoying the webinar, please type I am enjoying in the chat window. And please type only if you are really enjoying, okay? I appreciate blunt feedback, so I'm not going to feel bad if you are going to write a critical comment and, that, hey, Vishal, I didn't like what you say. That's perfectly fine. Okay, I'm so happy that so many people are enjoying. Okay. But if I were to look at my watch, I have last 5 minutes with me. There's a lot more to cover and too little a time. I have a special offer. Now, don't run away saying that, hey, this guy is now going to sell me something and then he's going to ask me money. No, that is not the case. I am not going to sell you something. But yes, I am going to ask you a token amount of money for those who want to learn very seriously. And that token of amount of money is going to be less than a cost of evening snack. So stick around, okay? I want 5 minutes of your time. And friends, I'm going to show you a couple of videos of my HR friends who were shying away from investing a small amount of money. I forcibly took that money out of their pocket and they attended a detailed 90 days blended learning program. And then they gave me some absolutely fabulous feedback. So let me take you straight to my videos. Here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am majorly involved into HR operations. And into HR operations, I feel like that finance is not a part of the HR earlier before attending the course. The finance is a different portfolio and HR is a different portfolio. HR is a portfolio where the manpower planning and recruitment and employee engagement, all these activities are handled. But after attending the course, I just learned the things that finance is as important as the other function of the HR. And now I have started implementing the same into the HR budgeting in my organization. So that is the most benefit I have taken from that course. Great. So I'm really thankful to you and that blended learning platform for providing me such a valuable information. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sailesh. It was really a pleasure of having you at the program.
Okay, so that was Sailesh talking about the feedback of our session. So that was Sailesh. Now most people would procrastinate and go back to the old ways of learning by not taking any action. Many people would save pennies on upgrading themselves but only losing lakhs in missed numbers. Only some of us proactively take action, sow the seed, and reap the benefits. So, real freedom comes when you take control over your numbers. Now, this is an accepted fact, friends. So, if you want real freedom, you need to take control of your numbers. Your numbers control your destiny, and I'm sure that you want to be in charge of your destiny, don't you? You would be thrilled once you are able to meet your numbers and in turn will inspire others to do the same. Today, when your budget is not met, you are going soft on people because somewhere you know that your numbers are also not being met. But once you are able to achieve your numbers, you will be a source of inspiration for many people. So, what will you learn? In the unique blended learning program, Unlocking Finance for HR Leaders, we shall help you navigate in this difficult time and also provide a roadmap of what should be done right now so that you can prepare to face a post COVID-19 year. COVID-19 is going to change the way we operate, and unless your business is financially strong, it may somehow survive the lockdown but may not survive the aftermath. Key learnings, I have 7 key learnings. Please stay with me. How to manage 4 key elements of your business: people, process, product, and finance during and after the lockdown. How to effectively conserve people and use cash during this time. If you have excessive manpower, what should you do with that? What can you do to survive such an unknown event anytime in the future? What is the financial disaster recovery plan for HR leaders? How to manage changes in business processes and manpower movements. Taking stock of hiring, retention, and compensation numbers in your business. The triple bottom line. What is the triple bottom line? The new way your business should work on for the HR. And the eighth, the bonus thing, managing transitions and upskilling people for newer roles. All of these things will come to you in a paid workshop where, one session of 4 hours each. We are going to give you 5 ebooks, 5 videos, 2 assessments, live projects, a 90-day access. You will be a part of a WhatsApp support group for which you will get a 90-day access. Budget templates for financial statements will be given to you. So the total value is worth 44,000 rupees, and I am not going to charge 44,000 rupees from you because I want to invest in you and I want to invest in your company, and I want to bring in the financial transformation that you are going to undergo in this workshop through our blended learning program. for 90 days on our blended learning track. You will read 5 ebooks, watch 5 videos, listen to 2 audio podcasts, give a pre-assessment, come for a 4-hour virtual session on 27th of June, and do a post-test evaluation. And I'm going to give you live projects, post which we will do a graduation ceremony, and I'm going to invite all of you once you complete your entire blended learning journey. All of this will result in direct cash flow benefit to you and your company. And I want to show you one more video of one very big HR company and how they benefited out of it.
Hi, Vishal, Shweta.
Hi, Shweta. Long time.
Yes, a very long time.
Tell me.
So, as already mentioned by my friends here, it was a great session, great understanding, helpful in terms of understanding, how we can articulate the numbers to the processes, etc. Although in some part we had been doing these activities, as a part of our role, day in and day out each year. However, what happened was that with this interaction, it's become more meaningful. We are able to understand not only the HR aspect of the business, not only in the business, also in the personal front, but also, we've started an exercise, at least at our organization level, we've already started with an exercise of understanding the bottom line of the organization. And this particular uh, module has helped me personally as well in terms of understanding and helping in making decisions better in terms of the operational cost, overheads, and also planning and rationalizing the budgets for various other departments, not only HR.
Great, Shweta. I think that's an amazing feedback. And we appreciate that you were able to get value. And
Yes, already started implementation, I could see that.
amazing, yeah. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Okay, friends. So you saw that we had Shweta from one of the large conglomerate of real estate in India. And this is one last 30-second video which I want to play for you before you go.
Hi Vishal, this is Mansi here.
Yeah, man.
So though Vishal, I'll be very frank with you that I have still not completed the whole project because I was completely busy with my office because my office comes into essential services. So yeah. So but I am very bad at numbers, let me tell you. And I didn't wanted to complete the project in hurry, and I've told Tosif to give me some time to complete the project. But yeah, I have reached these 3 steps, and I believe the whole course is beautifully designed. And as Shailesh already defined that normally HR thinks that there is no connection between HR and finance, but when it comes to a budgeting, the key concept is very much important, and it is very important to get clear in the terms of concepts. So I believe the ebooks are so easy to understand. My husband itself is a CA, and I told him that I have never seen such an easy language to understand from a finance point of view. So I really thank and I really understand so many things from a finance terms of view, and I would really complete the whole project, and I would really give you my feedback by WhatsApp. Thank you so much.
It's really a pleasure. Thank you for all your compliments.
So you see, friends, we've got a lot of accolades and compliments for this program that we are doing. And I would invite you to be a part of it. And if I were to ask you how much would you pay to get all of these things, how much would you pay to get all of these things? Can we have a quick bid? Can we have a quick bid? Because if I were to offer everything, I'm ready to offer all of these things for free also. But then, if I give you free, it has no value. Nobody is going to take it seriously. Oh, it's a free program. I enrolled for it. I had an urgent meeting, so I never came for it. So if there is an investment, I know that all of us are on a shoestring budget and it's very difficult to allocate money. But right now, this is the need of the hour. What kind of small investment can you spare for doing such a kind of a workshop, where I give you 90 days of blended learning track, 5 ebooks, 5 videos, 2 audio podcasts, 4 hours of live session, pre-assessment, post-assessment, live projects, discussion on live projects, and uh, interaction at the end of it in order to complete the course. What kind of investment would you make? What kind of investment would you make? Okay, Manikandan says he's not sure. You can just write anything. It does not mean that you have to make an investment if you write a number. Okay, if you are not comfortable typing in a number, let me tell you what I'm going to charge. If you decide to do this, I'm just going to take a token of 999 plus GST. If you decide to take this up from 17 to 26 June, because 27th is our workshop, so only 999 rupees is what you have to invest. And friends, today is 16th of June. So if you decide to buy today, a special lockdown price of only 499 plus GST. Now, this is a ridiculously low price. And yes, it is a ridiculously low price because ideally I am giving this away free. I don't want to charge a single penny to do this workshop. This 500 rupees is only to bring that seriousness into you that yes, I have paid some money, and since I have paid some money, I have to block those 4 hours on 27th of June between 10 to 1, and I have to study and read the ebooks, and I have to go through the videos before I go on to the actual program on 27th, and I have to give pre-assessment, and I have to do post-assessment, and I have to do live projects so that you become number savvy. The whole idea of taking a token amount of money is to bring in seriousness. In regular days, all these guys who were giving me feedback are HR folks of large. Sailesh is from large pharma company. Shweta is from a large real estate company. The other lady was from a large food processing company, and hence her office was on even during the lockdown times. All of these guys, they pay a regular rate of 44,000 per participant in normal days. In lockdown, we said we don't want to reduce price, we don't want to give discount, we want to give free. Because if today I invest in you and if you see value, I see value in doing this for your company once things start becoming normal and once you have enough training budgets. So that is in it for me at a later date. Right now, it is in it for you that you just pay a token amount of money as a gesture to instill seriousness. So we have limited seats, and you can pay now using the Razorpay link, or you can scan your Paytm here or any kind of UPI wallet that you have and transfer money to this mobile number. These are our bank details in case if you wish to avail the bank transfer. And there is also an offer button. There is also an offer button which is on now. So you can just click on buy now button and just pay 589 rupees inclusive of GST. 589 rupees तो हम लोग नीचे सुट्टा पीने जाते हैं शाम को ऑफिस के बाहर, and we order for some snacks in a nice restaurant like a Swati Snacks or something, we end up paying this much money. Total amount is 589 rupees including GST. 589. 589 is a small investment which is just the total cost, Ganesh, is 589 rupees. You don't have to pay 44,000. It is only 589. 589 gives you a 90-day access to blended learning track, 5 ebooks, 5 videos, 2 audio podcasts, 1 4-hour session on 27th of June, pre-assessment, post-assessment, live projects, and a certificate at the end of it. You get a certificate if you clear all of these levels based on your pre-assessment, post-assessment, and project scores. We will give you a gold certificate, silver certificate, and participation certificate depending on how your scores have come. You cannot have, all of you cannot have gold certificate. Only the top few guys will get gold certificate. The guys who complete the whole journey and the project and everything are going to get a silver certificate, and the guys who just come and learn will get a participation certificate. So sample of the certificate I cannot show you right now, but Raj Lakshmi, I'll have my team to show you the sample of the certificate as well. Yasir, of course, I'm going to share the content, but this offer of 499 is valid only for today. If you decide right now and if you make a payment, you get it. Once the day changes, tonight 12 p.m. the offer expires. Sonia, yes, we can talk after this webinar. We can definitely speak. Time schedule, this is you can learn it at your own pace and place. Once you pay the money, in next 48 hours we will schedule an access to blended learning track. We will give you your user ID and password, and then you can study at your own pace and place. You can read the books when you feel like reading. You can watch the videos when you feel like watching. You can give the tests when you feel like giving. The only time that I want you to block is 4 hours on 27th of June between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on 27th of June is going to be a live webinar. And in that webinar, I will tell you the date of project submission. And at the end of project submission, we will have another 1 hour review session. So this is how the schedule is going to flow. So if you pay now and enroll for your program, in next 48 hours, you will be asked to give us your email ID. Your email ID will become your user ID in blended learning track, and we will give you a unique password. Once you get the access, you can start learning, and I expect you to read the books, do the pre-assessment, watch the videos, listen to the audio podcast by 27th of June. I want you to finish so many steps and come in the classroom, because there are certain steps which you have to complete before the classroom. There are certain steps which you have to complete after the classroom. Yeah, Ganesh, the amount is 589, 499 plus GST. It is not 44,000. So I request all of you to make the payment right away to avoid any confusion. And if you decide to buy it tomorrow, the price will be 999 plus GST. So the price will double tomorrow. I suggest that if you are really serious, take a decision right now and invest in a financial transformation for you first, and later on for your company. Later on for your company. I request you to click on the offer button and buy now. Yes, I can send you an email, Varda, but then, if you have to take a decision, you have to take a decision right now. Otherwise, thank you, Sonia, for making the payment. Varda, if you decide tomorrow, the price will be doubled. So I suggest you pay up today. It is a very, very minuscule investment. It is less than an evening snack in a nice restaurant. It's less than an evening snack in a nice restaurant. So, I mean, this is something which I'm charging only and only because, okay, Piyush, I'm going to repeat once again for your benefit. I said for 90 days, you will get access to ebooks, you will get access to videos, pre-assessment, post-assessment, live projects, and a 4-hour webinar on 27th of June. And after, in that 4-hour webinar, we will schedule 1 more hour of review, project review, which you would have submitted, and the graduation ceremony. Falguni, yes, we can arrange an email to be sent today. I request the moderator to take how to send from Pakistan. Use Paytm. Use Paytm. If you are in Pakistan, I think Paytm will work. My bank details are there. If Paytm doesn't work, Razorpay link works globally. So you can click on the Razorpay link and you can pay from Pakistan, no problem. Okay, Veena has paid through Paytm. Thank you very much for making the payment, Veena. We will send you the acknowledgement of these payments today itself. We will send you the acknowledgements of the payment today itself. Yes, I have received money on Paytm. Yes, I have received money. Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, friends, for participating in today's webinar. And all those of you who are still thinking or sitting on the fence, let me tell you, life may, if you wear Nike shoes, you will go places. Just do it. I am telling you, just do it, because this kind of investment and this kind of value doesn't come very often. This is like once in a lifetime Flipkart billion day which has come towards you. And yes, you will be, Amol, there is a discussion forum in our blended learning track. If you have any query during these 90 days, you can ask and I'll be very happy to answer your queries. You are also being a part of a WhatsApp group in which if you have any questions, you can ask me. We have a blended learning track, Fatima, where all the access is given to you step by step, so that you can access it at your convenience, right? So we will resolve all your queries, Amol. I answered that question. The content of this this presentation which I took today would be sent to you on an email. So friends, thank you very much for participating. I wish you all a very nice week ahead, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the paid program. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and thanks for coming. Anjani, what details you require? If you could elaborate, I can ask my sales team to get in touch with you and share the details with you. Thank you for making the payment, Sangeeta. Thanks, Deepa. Thank you, Sangeeta. I look forward to seeing you. Anjani. Thank you, Deepa, for your feedback. Hi, Ganesh. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Tejas. We look forward to see you in the paid session. Thank you, Reshma. Can you please go to secret number 2? Secret number 2. You missed on the secret number 2. Yeah, this is secret number 2. It is for you, Ganesh. Training plus implementation plus review plus action plan plus consistency is equal to assured success. Okay, always Mughal. Okay, guys, moderator, please take note of the payment that is coming from Pakistan, from Varda. So it will come from always Mughal. So please take a note of it and acknowledge. My pleasure, Ganesh. My pleasure, Fatima. Thank you very much, friends, and have a nice day ahead. Have a nice day ahead. My Paytm number. Okay, let me show you my Paytm number. Here is my Paytm number. 932007891 is my Paytm number, Ganesh. 932007891 is my Paytm number. Absolutely, Piyush. I am also looking forward to the webinar. Yes, the course material will come to you within next 48 hours. My sales team will get in touch with you to configure the blended learning track. We just require your email ID. That's it. We don't need anything else. Once your payment is confirmed and we get your email ID, we configure the access for you in next 48 hours. Go ahead, Ganesh. Anyone, any question? No problem, I can answer. We will be in touch on WhatsApp, Amruta, so no problem. You can ask me any questions that you may have. It's not going to be a sector-specific webinar, so to say. See, Ganesh, we want you to understand that the financial challenges in most companies are more or less similar, whether they are into product or they are into service. I am planning to cover more the dimension of the financial challenges which are faced by HR. So more than industry specific, I would say the webinar is going to be domain specific. So what are the typical challenges that an HR would face? So our angle is more in terms of going into depths of how HR can address the financial challenges that come his or her own way, rather than dissecting it from an industry standpoint. Because you will agree that most of the challenges are industry agnostic. Of course, there are specific industry challenges as well. However, our focus is more going to be on the domain side. Yes, Raj Lakshmi, I will have to cover budgeting, without which the webinar would be incomplete. Amruta, this time I want you to complete it. I look forward for you to completing it. I remember you couldn't do it last time. So this time you have another opportunity. Make the most of it. Thank you very much, friends. I'm going to log off now. I look forward to seeing you on the paid webinar, and I'm going to be with you on the WhatsApp group, which will be created in the next 48 hours. I am so thankful for your interest in this, and I look forward to jointly creating value for you, for your profession and your company. Thank you and have a nice day. Thank you very much, Raj Lakshmi. I also look forward to seeing you in the paid webinar. Okay, bye-bye, folks. I'm going off air now. Thank you.